skin, playful energy, and most importantly, their healthy, full life.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free full-sized bag of Tilly's Treasures dog treats. They're best-selling beef liver dog treats while supplies last. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or shop in over 2,000 stores nationwide. Use the store locator to find the store closest to you. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
When you hear this,
they've got him again!
And this,
he scored!
And this,
oh boy, what a move by Embiid!
You think of us. We are sports. 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
It's a Monday edition of Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. I am Josh Hennig hanging out with you after an Eagles win, another close win over the Commanders. We'll get into my thoughts on the Eagles game, plus some reactions to the Sixers winning weekend. You know, I was very critical of the Sixers and Joel Embiid Saturday when I was sitting in with Billy Schweim in the locker room. So if I'm going to be critical of them, I have to, on the flip side, acknowledge them when they do well. Plus, we'll get you guys' thoughts and comments on the text board, 609-403-0973. That is the text board. Also, your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press, he will join me coming up in less than 20 minutes from now. Let's start with the Eagles, though, because and I'll get to the other stuff. So the Eagles did make a trade today. Not a crazy trade, nothing, wild or insane. But they did make a trade. And that trade was they moved on from Contavious Street. Now, it's a very interesting move for a couple of reasons. One, because the Eagles indirectly got back one of the draft picks that they gave up in the Byard trade. So it's obvious the Eagles were looking for some value. They were looking to be in a position where they could recoup some draft capital. Remember, they traded a 5th and 6th round pick to get Kevin Byard. So then in exchange for Contavious Street, they got a 6th round pick from the same year, 2024. Now, they also sent a 7th round pick to Atlanta. So it was more of a pick swap than a literal player for pick exchange. But nonetheless, they still got somebody, and Atlanta needs help on the D-line. Their D-line is not very good, and with Grady Jarrett suffering a torn ACL, they need somebody. So it's not the craziest thing in the world that the Eagles went out and did this. And considering now that they already had 7 picks in the 2025 draft in the 7th round, and they gave up on one, not the craziest. Again, these are the kind of moves that Howie Roseman makes, and nobody understands their value until years later. But that being said, there's a strong possibility that the Eagles might not be done. And I think the reason why I'm curious to see what the Eagles do next is because there are some needs that I see that they need. There are players that I think that they should go get. But as we know, the Eagles function on a different wavelength than the rest of us do. Okay? Look, to me, one of my big takeaways from the game yesterday was the fact that I'm tired of Kenny Gainwell, guys. I really am. look, I know we should all be celebrating the win. We should all be excited for the win. And Jalen Hurts finally is turning his season around, right? According to NFL Next Gen stats, Jalen Hurts was 11 for 14 on passes of 10 yards or more in Sunday's win. Jalen is finally turning into Jalen again. But on the flip side, to me, if I'm the Eagles, I feel like you still need a power back. You still need somebody who is going to get those short yards. And it's not Kenny Gainwell. And, I don't know what's going to happen with Gainwell and his, using social media at halftime of a game, which is against the NFL's rules. But still, I don't understand why this team is so obsessed with him. The obsession with Gainwell is borderline disturbing, okay? It's a little ridiculous that this organization keeps running him out there. And, Nick Sirianni was asked about this after the game yesterday. And I got to tell you guys, his explanation, not very convincing. Take a listen. It's cute that you trust him, Nick Sirianni, but nobody else does. And comparing to Kenny Gainwell to A.J. Brown, when A.J. Brown is literally on pace to set records, all-time records for receiving, I feel like the Eagles, I don't know if Kenny Gainwell has like blackmail on them or what's going on. Either way, I just don't understand why you're using a guy who is literally my size on 3rd and 2 or, 2nd and goal runs. I'm not kidding. You guys know how tall and big Kenny Gainwell is? Kenny Gainwell is listed at 5'9" and 200. Well, guess what yours truly is also listed at? 5'9" and 200. So there is no way I want me running the ball on 3rd and 2, 4th and short. I don't want me on the field. I want someone who's more capable. And considering the Eagles refuse to use Rashad Penny, who's 220 pounds and a couple inches taller than Kenny Gainwell, that's why I say I would think the Eagles would go get a running back. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. But the win yesterday did give us a couple takeaways. You guys let me know how you're feeling today. 609-403-0973. That's the text board. Also your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Jeff in Ocean City chimes in and says, I was impressed with how the Eagles made adjustments Sunday and how Nick Sirianni outcoached Ron Rivera. It's now death to Dallas week. Fly, Eagles, fly, from Jeff in Ocean City. Jeff, I'm not 100% sure if it was as much Nick Sirianni making adjustments as it was. I think the players were executing better in the second half. I think whatever Sirianni and his coaches said to the players at halftime, it got the offense to execute better in the second half. So whether that was literal adjustments or it was just a change of approach, it really did feel like, though, Ron Rivera missed a couple opportunities to challenge plays, and he didn't in that game. So if you want to tell me that, Ron Rivera is maybe losing his touch and his grip on a football team in the course of a game, I'm willing to play along with that conversation. I still think there's some issues with the Eagles coaching. I do believe that when you look at what they're calling on offense and defense, I think it is too predictable. I mean, Casey Joyner said it earlier with Mike Gill on the Sports Bash. The guy's covered the league for over 20 years. The NFL for ESPN, now The Athletic. Rex Ryan said it on Get Up this morning on television. These are people who have been around football longer than some of us have been alive, right? I mean, Rex Ryan, he coached football as long as I've been alive, I think, before we got into TV. So, and you're telling me that they're saying what the Eagles are calling is vanilla, that maybe other teams don't see that as well. So I don't know if I fully agree with Nick out coaching Ron. I think Ron Rivera has actually lost touch with football a little bit. Shaner in EHT chimes in and says, is A.J. Brown not the top receiver in the league? Stats would suggest so this year. And is he now a top 5 in the league overall? I always saw him as a top 10, the top 15, maybe, just not a great big body with no hands. He's changed my mind, though. What are your thoughts, Shaner and EHT? Well, Shaner, I think the couple things you said there was very interesting, because you said that, the perception was that he was like a top 10, the top 15 guy, great athlete, not great hands. And you're right. I think he has changed a lot of people's minds. I think that A.J. Brown is at a point in his life, not career, his life, where he's finally entering physically the body that he is genetically predisposed to. He's 26 years old. Typically for men, they stop growing sometime between 19 and 22. And it's in your mid-20s that your body pretty much formulates into the foundation of what it's going to be the rest of your life. So A.J. Brown, that's why it's just now you could consider him entering his prime. So he technically can get better. So I would say that this is more than just a stats thing, Shaner. I think this is the Eagles got a guy bought low and are getting a higher value than what they bought him for. And he is the top 5 receiver in the league right now. I think it's Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, Justin Jefferson are the big 3. And then after those 3 guys, I think the conversation shifts the guys like CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, Jamar Chase. Do we put Amon-Ra St. Brown in the conversation at all? I mean, he's playing phenomenal for the Lions. Devontae Adams, he's on a garbage team, but he's still a great receiver. So, yeah, I think A.J. Brown can be in that conversation for top 5 for sure. I think there's definitely something to be said for the fact that what he is doing statistically, as you said, is delineating him even more from the rest of the guys. By the way, shout out to Irvin and EHT for checking into the show. Thank you for always listening to 97.3 ESPN. Texture chimes in. Kevin in Canada. Canada's listening. Says, hey, Josh, I love that game. I'll take it. Would be smart to trade him to get some value and make a move for like a Derrick Henry or Josh Jacobs, especially considering that DeAndre can play in the slot while you have a bruiser in the backfield. It's from Kevin in Canada. Well, Kevin, I will let you know that the reports are that the Titans have told Derrick Henry that they're not going to trade him. So because of that, I would think it's very unlikely that you're going to see that guy come to Philadelphia. Josh Jacobs is interesting because he is on the 1 year of a deal. So are you willing to take a rental player for 1 year? How does that impact DeAndre Swift's role on the team? Trading Gainwell seems very unlikely because the Eagles seem to trust him way too much. Again, I don't know why. I don't know what the infatuation is. But like I said, the guy is literally my size. I don't want him running on 3rd and 2. And if Nick Sirianni thinks it's a good idea, well, maybe Nick Sirianni isn't as smart as we think he is. I like the Jacobs idea, though. He is on the final year of a contract. I had mentioned A.J. Dillon earlier today when I was talking with Mike Gill about this. Somebody who I think could come in is being willing to take a different role. You mentioned DeAndre Swift can play as a receiver. You're right. You can shuffle him around in different formations. He is a very versatile player. So interesting take there from Kevin in Canada. Steven Ventnor says, I like playing to our strengths and using a 5-man front on the D line. Don't blame the coaching staff for that. The guys on the outside need to tighten up. He's referring to the Eagles defense. Yeah. I'm under the impression, Steve Ventnor, that the problem with the Eagles defense is more Eric Bieniemy than anything else. Eric Bieniemy now scored 38 points, 31 points, 31 points with teams that he's coached. Against Vic Fangio in Denver, in 6 games, they averaged 28 points a game when Eric Bieniemy was offensive coordinator. So I think Eric Bieniemy's got whatever the magic elixir, the kryptonite, whatever you want to call it, for the Eagles defense. With that being said, there is something about playing a defense that is predictable, and I think that Sean Desai's defense is a little predictable at times. And I do agree with you, Steve. Swift needs to be getting more touches. And you're right. I love what Steve Venter said, though. 20 touches, not 20 rushes. That's good football IQ there from Steven Ventnor, because I don't want Swift running the ball 20 times. I want him catching the ball some of those times. Swift makes so much sense for this offense, and he is a guy who has tons of talent, and I feel like they don't use him enough. It's not my, I don't know what I would do if I was in those situations, but I feel like I would at least run Swift and use him more as a weapon and less as a accessory to the offense. I feel like they treat Swift like a woman treats the purse. Women treat these purses like accessories. They get the purse has to match the shoes and the earrings and all that stuff. And it's like, no. Swift is not an accessory to the offense. Swift should be a huge part of the offense. Like, to me, if you told me the hierarchy of weapons on the team is AJ Brown 1, Devontae Smith 2, you could make an argument Swift should be 3 and head of Goddard at this point. Because I think Goddard, well, here's the problem. Goddard isn't used right either. So, I mean, that's a whole conversation for another day. We'll talk more about this with Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press coming up next. We'll get more of your text messages throughout the hour. 609-403-0973. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night. And don't forget, coming up in less than 50 minutes from now, your next opportunity to qualify for the 99 Bottles contest. Listen in for the sounder coming up later in Game Night, and you will have a chance to call for your opportunity to qualify for the biggest giveaway of the year from 97.3 and the Sports Bash 99 Bottles party at Anchorage Tavern in Summers Point.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. It's Week 9, and the Eagles host the Dallas Cowboys this Sunday at the Lake.
Back goes Prescott. He's looking. He steps up. He's hit. And he's dropped.
Eagles radio network coverage begins at 3 p.m. Maryland Mike call all the action starting at 4:25. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagles station. Brought to you by
GMS Law. Make the right call with 4 convenient locations to serve you and at gmslaw.com. Boardwalk Honda. Shop our lineup of new pre-owned and certified pre-owned Hondas online at boardwalkhonda.com. The Fan Zone at Sun Valley Pools. Unique fan gear and gifts for every fan of every team. Cape Regional Hospital, your healthcare partner for a healthier life in Cape May County. Jersey Shore Federal Credit Union. Choose better banking. And South Jersey Gas.
97.3 ESPN FM is your official home in South Jersey for Eagles football.
Attention, New Jersey families. If you're an expecting mother or have a precious new little one, Nurture New Jersey is here to support you every step of the way. With locations in each of the 21 counties, Connecting NJ links you with top-notch perinatal care, parenting support, and a network of services in your local community. Get access to resources like WIC, lactation support, doulas, food assistance, and more. To find a Connecting NJ organization near you, visit nj.gov/connectingnj.
Hey, let's get out of here. With Audible, we could root for a lone astronaut as he tries to save Earth from disaster. Maybe go for a run with the founder of the world's biggest sneaker brand. We could get the tea on the real-life media mogul succession drama. Or find out what life is really like for an Oscar-winning actress. I mean, with Audible, we could go anywhere. There's more to imagine when we listen. Hear the latest audiobooks, podcasts, and originals at audible.com.
Good evening, and welcome to your nightmare.
You thought you were safe and sound until you looked out the window and saw it in the driveway. The creature that's been draining you dry for years. An old friend that had turned into a gas-guzzling monster. It was your old car just sitting there laughing.
AJ the Trade Man has got you covered.
Oh, yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Even if you owe thousands more than your trade's worth, Matt Blatt Nissan wants to get you into a new Nissan with 0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 0% financing on every new Nissan in stock. Backed by Matt Blatt's 4-day love it or leave it return policy. Have a job? Clearing $350 per week, you are virtually approved. Only at MattBlattNissan.com. On approved Tier 1 credit through DMAT. Negative equity will be refinanced into new vehicle plus tax tag $589.3. Offers can't be combined. 0% for 36 months. Call 877-289-6670 or go to MattBlattNissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 11/5/2023.
It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
She's running around. Her breath doesn't smell. Her digestive system is perfect. It has made such a huge difference.
What did this dog parent do for their dog? She switched to Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food made by Dr. Maaddi Goldstein, a veterinarian Forbes magazine called the Miracle Worker. It's the easiest way to support your dog's easy digestion, nourished skin, playful energy, and most importantly, their healthy, full life.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is back with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free full-sized bag of Tilly's Treasures dog treats. They're best-selling beef liver dog treats while supplies last. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or shop in over 2,000 stores nationwide. Use the store locator to find the store closest to you. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
It's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles. Here's a winner, fall football, and Chickies and Pete's mouth-watering snow crab legs. For a limited time, buy one and get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday. Enjoy the sweet, delicate flavor of snowy white crab meat dressed in our special blend of seasonings and spices. Pair it with an ice-cold draft beer or one of our signature cocktails. Buy one and get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday for a limited time. Restrictions apply. Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, and we are prouder than ever to partner with the Philadelphia Eagles. Chicky and Pete's has been named the official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, and we continue to serve as the official caterer of both Eagles training camp and the official caterer of the First Trust Bank Club at Lincoln Financial Field. Go where the players go. The official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
More text coming up a little bit later in the hour. Paul in Ocean City, I see you chiming in as well as others at 609-403-0973. I believe it's also AJ in Cape May Courthouse. But right now, we got Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press joining us as he does each and every week, talk about the NFL. Of course, Rob covers the league for the AP. He's, of course, the host of the AP Pro Football Podcast. And, of course, host of Faith on the Field, heard Saturday and Sunday mornings right here on 97.3 ESPN. Rob, welcome back. How you doing today?
What's going on, Josh? How are you?
Doing pretty good. So, for you, when you saw the Eagles win yesterday, for what was a bigger walk away for you, Rob? Hey, this defense has allowed 31 points, 2 straight games to Washington, or, hey, the offense is finally finding their feet.
You know, my biggest takeaway I'm more of a positive guy than a negative guy. And what you say about the defense is certainly should be at the forefront of our minds. But the first thing I thought about, Josh, was Jalen Hurts, limited mobility, knee injury, forced to be a pocket passer, and has one of the best games of his life in the pocket against a pretty ferocious front four that Washington has. Now, I know the Eagles got a tremendous offensive line. They gave him time. He's got outstanding wide receivers. A.J. Brown is playing on an otherworldly level right now. He's playing at all-pro level right there with Tyreek Hill. But Jalen Hurts had time, sat in the pocket, and just picked apart Washington. And I know the questions had always been about what kind of quarterback would he be if that's all if he was forced to stay in a pocket. And there you go, 2 weeks in a row. He's got pretty decent games after that 3-interception performance against the Jets. He bounces back against Miami, had 1 pick in that game, 2 touchdowns. Yesterday, 4 touchdowns, no picks, had the 1 turnover down at the goal line on the tush push that didn't work out. But that to me was this number one takeaway. And really, it's what we've been waiting for is to see this out. We've seen them win games on the ground, and now they're winning games in the air. And they're not running the ball that well. They're not running the ball that much. And they haven't had 100 yards rushing in 3 straight games. So I feel like the defense, other than against Sam Howell, has been okay this year. Has been pretty decent this year. For whatever reason, Sam Howell has their number. got 687, I believe, passing yards against the Eagles, accounted for 35% of all yards passing that they've given up, albeit he's played 2 games, no one else has. But still, I think there are certainly some points that you have to look at from a defensive standpoint that they got to fix. But I would take the offense and say, hey, it's a big-time playmaking performance out of Jalen Hurts and those guys in the air, and that's impressive.
You know, according to NFL stats and info, Jalen Hurts is the 6th player in NFL history with at least 300 combined passing and rushing yards and 2 combined passing and rushing touchdowns in 6 consecutive games. Everyone's so focused on A.J. Brown and his streak, but, you know, you could argue that, you know, Rob, Jalen is now finding his feet. And this isn't unfamiliar. Last year, he started out slow as well. So maybe he's just the kind of guy, you know, remember in baseball, Charlie Manuel used to call it hitting weather. You know, when they get to the summer, well, you know, maybe the fall is Jalen weather. You know, maybe he just gets better as the year goes on.
Yeah, and it makes sense with the new offensive coordinator, Brian Johnson, still trying to find his rhythm. They did have 2 red zone opportunities yesterday that they fumbled away. Jalen Hurts' fumble at the 1, Kenny Gainwell inside the 15, inside the 10, I believe. I forget exactly where that was. We don't need Kenny Gainwell answering trolls at halftime on his phone in the locker room. That's got to be taken care of. But, yeah, Jalen Hurts certainly seems to be hitting his stride. And at some point you would think, you would hope that his knee starts to feel. We don't know the severity. It's such a mystery. You don't know when he suffered it. You don't know the extent of the injury. They're somehow keeping everything secret. He doesn't show up on the injury report, so they're not forced to reveal what it is per NFL rules. If he's practicing and not showing up on the injury report, I wonder how much of that is being manipulated. But once his knee starts to feel better and he can be more of a dual threat quarterback that we know he is, he's going to be even better. So I look at what Jalen's been doing in the past few weeks and say, hey, to sit here 2 weeks ago, I'm sure we had the conversation after the Jets game and people threw their hands up in the air and going, what the heck is going on with Jalen Hurts and this offense? And you lose to the Jets, you're 5-1, and look out, here comes Miami. And, well, you're 7-1 now. Big game coming up this Sunday, though, against the Dallas Cowboys on not Sunday Night Football. It's just late Sunday afternoon. It's so weird. It's weird that it's not Sunday Night Football. I think the one in Dallas a few weeks down the road, December, that'll be Sunday Night Football.
Correct. That is correct as well. Rob, back to the defense, because I want to let that fully go away. I will say that before you came on, I mentioned, you know, Eric Bieniemy now has been part of 3 of the highest scoring against the Eagles defense in recent games. 38 in the Super Bowl, 31 points, 2 straight games. And against Vic Fangio in Denver, when Bieniemy was the offense coordinator, they averaged 28 points a game. So is it possible maybe Bieniemy just understands how to take advantage of this defense?
That's a great point. And Eric Bieniemy knows a little bit about offensive football for sure, being the offensive coordinator with Andy Reid in Kansas City, where they had multiple weapons and led by Patrick Mahomes. But he's playing with a little bit different style of quarterback. So to be able to get it done with Sam Howell, who's a rookie, as opposed to an MVP player like Patrick Mahomes, that's impressive for Eric Bieniemy. And some guys just have a feel for the way a defense plays, for the way they can attack a defense. Now, it's a little bit different, right? This Eagles defense than it was in the Super Bowl under Jonathan Gannon. Under Sean Desai, it's a little bit different, but they've certainly had the Eagles' number. And I'm a little concerned about the pass rush not being able to get to a guy who has been sacked more times than any quarterback in the NFL coming into that game. They weren't able to get to him yesterday, and you just hope that that's a one-time thing, because the Eagles are only defensively, they're only as good as their front 4 is. They're getting the pressure, they're getting the pass rush, they're forcing hurries, they're forcing uncomfortable feelings in the pocket by quarterbacks, and that just makes the secondary better. The one touchdown where Bradbury got beat, I think that was Terry McLaurin, just beat him right down the left side there, and I thought it was more of a one-on-one. There wasn't much safety help coming over at that time. It just shows that, like, as good as Bradbury as good as Slay are, if you have to cover guys one-on-one for a longer period of time than you're used to, eventually they're going to come open.
Rob, a couple more things I want to hit on before I get to the rest of the league with you. You know, the Eagles now got this tough stretch of games, and I thought it was very interesting after the game, Kevin Byard saying, hey, I got to be better. We got to be better. That's unacceptable. And for a guy who's literally been here for a few days, basically in Philadelphia, for him to have that kind of attitude, you know, I'm not saying it's surprising, but it's definitely stands out to me that this guy understands like where he's standing right now. He understands that he's in the middle of something different than he was in Tennessee.
Yeah, for sure. And he gets it. He's been that kind of guy throughout his career, accountable, available, someone who is a locker room leader, a guy others rally around. Like you said, he just got there. The trade was made, last Tuesday or Wednesday? It was Monday. I don't remember exactly. It was last week. He's only been in the building a handful of days, and he understands the magnitude of what the Eagles are going for. This is a team where they came off that Super Bowl. There's no hangover. It's win a Super Bowl or bust. Everybody's got to be at the top of their game week in and week out, offense, defense, and special teams. And when the offense bails out the defense knows there's going to be a week, a game that's coming up, whether it's the Cowboys, whether it's the Bills, whether it's the 49ers, whether it's the Cowboys again, even if it's the Giants, if they somehow defensively, like there's going to be a game where the offense is going to sputter and that defense has to win that football game for them. And Kevin Byard understands that, and he knows they got to be better in certain areas. You're not going to keep winning, giving up 31 points or worse. And they get that, and they got to figure some things out there for sure, because you got a pretty impressive Dallas Cowboys team coming in. Dallas has been like heckle and jive, right? When they've been good, they've been dominant. First 2 games of the season, then later on against the Patriots, then this past week and against the Rams. And then when they're bad, they can lose to the Arizona Cardinals. So I feel like they've kind of hit their stride. They're offensively getting more familiar and more comfortable playing for Mike McCarthy's with Mike McCarthy calling the plays. Has been his offense, but now he's calling the plays. And this is a team that can be quite dangerous. I just don't know if they're ready to come into Philly and upset the Eagles on Sunday. The line is only 3 points, which kind of surprises me, because when it's 3 points and you're home, that means on a neutral field, Vegas is saying, the odds makers are saying these two teams are evenly matched on a neutral field. And I still don't think they're evenly matched. I still think the Eagles are 1.5. Like, I would have thought that this would be a 4.5 at 4.
Talking with AP lead NFL reporter and writer Rob Maaddi here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN, on Twitter, X at Rob Maaddi. Rob, a couple of moves around the league right now. Leonard Williams traded from the Giants to Seattle. A little surprising to see the Giants give up on a young guy who, I mean, I at least thought he was a centerpiece of their defense, but, you know, apparently I was wrong. So, you know, what are your thoughts on that move?
Well, the Giants certainly look at the standings, understand where they are, and realize they're not going anywhere this year. Leonard Williams, they got a second-round pick, I believe, and a fifth-round pick for him. That second's a pretty valuable pick, even though Seattle's probably going to be in the 20 to 30 range, 22 to 32, somewhere in there. But it gives you more assets. I just saw the trade coming down not too long ago. Wasn't sure what his contract situation is at this point, Josh, but the Giants, I think, are certainly sellers going into tomorrow's trade deadline. And I know they've said that they're not trading Saquon Barkley, but you got to look at everything as a possibility. They gave Daniel Jones 4 years and $160 million, and he's not worth it, and he certainly proved that. And now they got to figure out a way how they're going to survive with that salary. And they got to dump other guys at other positions who are going to make a lot of money. I thought last year was a one-year wonder, one-year aberration out of the Giants. I didn't think they're that good. Didn't expect them to be like a 4-13 team this year, but they're certainly closer to that than they are a 10-7, 9-8 type team. So they're going to be. That was a big move for Seattle. Seattle's in first place now after San Francisco loses 3 games in a row. They're 5-2. I still think the Niners will end up winning the NFC West, but it's a big move to bolster the defensive line for the Seahawks. And And teams know where you win. You win in the trenches. And anytime you can add a big-time player like that, and the price is the second and the fifth, it's something you consider. And Seattle thought, hey, we can do it and we can make a run.
Interestingly enough, the Cardinals, you mentioned the Cardinals earlier, they have announced that Josh Dobbs is no longer the starting quarterback. And the starter this week will either be Kyler Murray or Clayton Tune. So what is going on in the desert, Rob? I mean, I feel like I understand they're not a good football team, but like to literally just be like, you know what, Josh Dobbs, you're not the starter. The starter is either a guy who's still on IR technically or Clayton Tune. Like, I don't think Clayton Tune needs an explanation here.
I think the Arizona Cardinals are trying to do everything they can to get the number one pick. And they kind of messed that up earlier in the season by playing too hard and winning games. Winning one game, right? But this is a team that certainly has all eyes on 2024 and beyond. And no matter who the quarterback is, I would, if I were them, I would tell Kyler Murray to take your time. You don't have to rush back. We can play. We want you to feel as healthy as possible. Once he gets cleared, are you sure you really want? You're getting paid handsomely for sure. And they overpaid him. They were forced to do it, and they did it. And I think they got to certainly play for down the road. I wouldn't put all their problems, though, on Josh Dobbs. He's done some decent things. And maybe one of these teams looking for a quarterback right now, like the Giants, although Daniel Jones was cleared earlier today to return to practice, or the Minnesota Vikings, who desperately now need a quarterback. And they went from 1-4 to 4-4, but Kirk Cousins is out for the rest of the season. Maybe they have some interest in Josh Dobbs, although I know another quarterback who is quite familiar with the Minnesota area who they certainly should look for.
I mean, I feel like there's a long list of guys who could go to Minnesota, but Rob, the question is, does Minnesota actually want to win now?
Yeah, that's a great question. You're in a division where the Lions are certainly head and shoulders above everyone else. You're holding on to, I guess they're the 7th seed right now, and that's pretty much where you're going to be. That's a legitimate question, Josh. Do you want to win? Can you win? Yeah, they're 3-0 without Justin Jefferson, shockingly. And now they got one more game or so, at least, without Justin, but they got to go without their quarterback. They got to figure out who the QB is for next year. That guy's not on their roster. So unless they can go out there and bring someone in who they think could be that guy for this season and beyond, with Cousins having the ability he's going to be a free agent. He's going to be coming off an Achilles at 35 years old. An Achilles injury suffered in late October, which means he may not be ready for training camp or the start of the season, wherever he ends up next year. If they want to compete in 24, they got to figure out who's going to be under center for them. And maybe you're right. Maybe they want to try and put their least foot forward. This way they can solidify a higher pick in the draft.
And, for Minnesota, I'm not saying that higher pick has to be a quarterback necessarily, Rob, but, you could argue that Minnesota is a team that needs a lot of help. And, if you're a team that gets a high draft pick, maybe you're one of those teams that trades that pick to get more picks to kind of rebuild, because we know that, basically, the Bears own part of the draft right now because of their trade with a DJ Moore and giving up the first overall pick this past year. So maybe if you're Minnesota, maybe your goal isn't necessarily exactly quarterback, and maybe it's, hey, can we get a high enough pick to trade it to get more picks?
Yeah, it never hurts to have high draft picks and have options. It's always a great position to be in, and it's one where you can either use it to pick somebody who you think is going to be an impact player at a position that is one of those difference makers, or you can do what the Bears did last year and parlay that into another first-round pick, a star wide receiver. And now the Bears go into this year. If Justin Fields, if they feel he's not going to be that answer, they're going to probably have 2 top 5 picks, it would seem, at this point. And they may still end up with 1 overall if Arizona doesn't do what they want to do and Carolina can't win. Although I think Carolina's going to win a few more games down the road, a lot more than Arizona. But that would make sense for the Vikings. certainly getting into the playoffs as a 7 seed with a quarterback that you find on the street in late October, early November, probably isn't going to do much for you as far as the 2023 season.
Before I let you go, 49ers losers of 3 straight. Is this just one of those, hey, mid-season lulls, a team going through a slump, or is this something bigger going on in San Francisco?
Man, when they're out to 5-0 and some of the games they played and that big dominant win over the Cowboys, and everybody's looking at them as a Super Bowl contender, and we know they went to the NFC Championship last year and Brock Purdy got hurt, so it was all legitimate, it was all real, and then to lose to the Browns and just lose to the Vikings and now lose to the Bengals. There's no shame in losing to Joe Burrow. There's no shame in losing to Cincinnati, but I'm seeing a lot of flaws on that team, and certainly they've been hurt by injuries. Brock Purdy's a different quarterback without Deebo Samuel, without Trent Williams. The defense has been susceptible to some big plays, and they're giving up some yardage. But I think that this 49ers team right now is kind of at a crossroads. You're 5-3, and you can't afford to lose anymore. You know how important it is to be a top seed to get home field advantage, and now you're 2 games behind the Eagles. You could only make one up when you play the Eagles, so they better hope that the Eagles lose a couple more some way, somehow, because you can only control one of those games against them, and you pretty much got to be perfect the rest of the way, because I don't see the Eagles being a 4-loss team at this point. So San Francisco's got an uphill battle coming up, and Brock Purdy, 2 more picks yesterday. I kind of dismissed the 2 consecutive picks against the Vikings because it came after he suffered a concussion. And then yesterday, back-to-back plays, again, 2 picks, very uncharacteristic, but also troublesome and worrisome for the San Francisco 49ers. And it just shows you how far and away better the Eagles are, how much more consistent they've been as a football team than everyone else in the NFL. And that includes the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, who lost to Denver this weekend and barely beat them a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that Kansas City loss was so ugly. Although I did think it was funny that they played Taylor Swift "Shake It Off" in the stadium after the win. Though I did think that was funny.
That's all they got going for them right now, the Broncos.
Right, exactly. Poor Sean Payton. He's had a rough year over there in Denver. Rob Maaddi, Associated Press. Of course, he's the host of the AP Pro Football Podcast. Like, subscribe, download wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, Faith in the Field heard Saturday and Sunday mornings right here on 97.3 ESPN. Rob, always appreciate you jumping on. Have a good week.
You too. Have an awesome one. Thanks, Josh.
I am Josh Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. We will get back to your text. Like I said, Paul in Ocean City, AJ in Cape May Courthouse, your text and more at 609-403-0973 and your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle.
Kevin Harlan here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner this week when the 5-2 Lions take on the 3-4 Raiders. Las Vegas hopes the expected return of Jimmy Garoppolo can get them back in the win column. Jared Goff and the first-place Detroit Lions are looking to bounce back. Don't miss any of the action on Monday Night Football.
Listen to Monday Night Football on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 7:30.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Booking Games in Ocean Casino Resort this football season. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the Gallery. Go to Ocean. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
She's running around. Her breath doesn't smell. Her digestive system is perfect. It has made such a huge difference.
What did this dog parent do for their dog? She switched to Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food made by Dr. Marty Goldstein, a veterinarian Forbes magazine called the Miracle Worker. It's the easiest way to support your dog's easy digestion, nourished skin, playful energy, and most importantly, their healthy, full life.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free full-sized bag of Tilly's Treasures dog treats. They're best-selling beef liver dog treats while supplies last. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or shop in over 2,000 stores nationwide. Use the store locator to find the store closest to you. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
Don't get tricked this October into overpaying for a used vehicle. Get to Matt Blatt Kia and buy a brand new 2023 Kia Forte LXS, just $19,999. You heard right, a brand new Kia with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty for under $20,000. Why would you buy a used vehicle? Stuck in a loan or lease? Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you released, and it's the only place you can drive with peace of mind with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy. Plus, you can drive with 0 down and 0 payments for 90 days on every new Kia in stock. We want to finance your future, not your past. So come get your new Kia Forte for under $20,000. But when they're gone, they're gone.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
With approved credit, not all will qualify. Credit may affect down payment. Offers can't be combined. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes through KNF. Rebates and incentives to dealer expires 11/5/23. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Learn more at chase.com/business premier. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Account subject to credit approval. Restrictions and limitations apply. Cards are issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank. Any member FDIC.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of holiday joy at the Home Depot, where you can find everything you need to get ready for the holiday season, like all new festive outdoor decor. Spread more joy this season with bigger, bolder, and brighter inflatables from the Home Depot, like our exclusive new 8-foot animated Santa and reindeer inflatable for just $149, available in-store and online. Get holiday ready right now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
I feel bad for the Johnson kids next door. Their parents just use their phone for home internet. So when everyone's online, it could be mad slow. Tom can barely play a full round of Horse Commander 3. Luckily, we get fast and reliable internet from Xfinity, so I can game while everyone's on with basically no interruptions.
Hey, Jess, can I, borrow some eggs?
You want a game here?
Please.
Now through November 15th, new customers can get 200 megabit internet with unlimited data on the next generation Xfinity 10G network for just $25 a month for 12 months. Plus, there's no annual contract, so it's risk-free. Go to xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless bill and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service. Actual speeds vary.
When my daughter gets a cold, I have a secret weapon. DayQuil Kids Berry from Vicks. DayQuil Kids is specially formulated to treat kids' most bothersome cold and cough symptoms quickly. And the best part is that DayQuil Kids Berry tastes really great. Aren't you supposed to be resting? Maybe.
DayQuil Kids Berry. The kids' berry-licious daytime congestion, coughing, stuffy head, stuffy nose, just for kids. Medicine. Safe for kids 6 years plus.
Venture X from Capital One is the travel card for people always asking,
Where next?
you earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Are you tired of having the same boring place to have your company or private party for the holiday season? Bring back the fun to your holiday bash by hosting it at Tennessee Avenue Beer Hall. Enjoy the beer hall's 40 taps and an incredible cocktail menu in its spacious, awesomely decorated interior, as well as a festively decorated outdoor yard featuring a heated bar, fire pits, and giant holiday tree made out of beer kegs. Tennessee Avenue Beer Hall's menu can be custom made, whether it's casual sliders and wings to gourmet surf and turf. So book your holiday event today by going to TennesseeAvenueBeerHall.com.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
All right, wrapping up the Power Hour known as Game Night. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN. Let's get back to your guys' thoughts and comments on the text board. Of course, it's there as always for you at 609-403-0973. Paul in Ocean City chimes in and says, Josh, I agree with Rivera missing a few challenges. Also, horrible 4th and 1 play call that could have potentially put them up 3 touchdowns. Also, Blankenship got exploited several times, hoping with another week of practice with Bayard will shore that up. Had to play better this week to beat Dallas. That's from Paul in Ocean City. I think they will be better. I think that the issue with Blankenship was you could argue that he probably came back maybe sooner than he should because they're just really thin at that position. You know, with Justin Evans on IR and them trading away Edmonds for Bayard, they didn't really add another safety. They just replaced Edmonds. You know, they upgraded one safety position. They didn't actually make the team deeper. So to me, I think it's part of the reason why Blankenship probably played injured. And I think that's part of the reason why he got exploited, as you put it, in the game. I think they will get better. I don't think they'll be 100%, though. I think that the Eagles' goal is to get to Dallas, get the win, get to the bye week as healthy as possible, hit the reset button, and then recharge the batteries for the second half of the season. Who else we got over the text board? AJ Kimmy Courthouse says DeAndre Swift is a great fit. You're making it sound like he's a stepchild. I'm not making it sound like he's a stepchild, AJ. I think that I'm making an assessment of how the Eagles look at Swift. I think that's how I'm, expressing it. I don't personally think, AJ, that Swift is any less of a great fit than you do. From my perspective, I think the Eagles don't use Swift properly all the time. I think the Eagles are an organization that they are run by people who have specific views of football and how to use players. I think the organization looks at DeAndre Swift as an asset to the team and not as an essential part of the team. I think the Eagles think that Swift is maybe not replaceable, but if he was to get injured, they'd be fine kind of attitude. I think that's the wrong way of looking at it. I think that it's a bad way to look at a player and say this guy is among the league leaders in rushing and just treat him like an accessory. I think that's my problem with Swift. I think that they should use him differently and they should use him better. And if they used him differently and used him better, I think that would be, go a long way. 609-403-0973 texture says, why are we not playing Penny? What was the point of getting him if we're not going to play him? Same with Boston Scott. That's from Jeff in Summers Point. Jeff, I don't think it's a bad question to ask because I asked the same question. You have Penny on this roster. He's inactive on Sunday. What was the point of having him here instead of a Trey Sermon, who is a legitimate power back who can run between the tackles? If you're not going to use Penny, what's he doing here? I don't know why they're not playing Penny. My assumption is they don't trust him. Because Nick Sirianni keeps using that word. We're talking about Gainwell. Well, we trust him. We believe in Kenny Gainwell. We believe in what he does. We trust him. Well, then you probably don't trust Penny then. The Boston Scott thing is weird. Boston Scott has always been like the break glass case of emergency guy. He's never been more than that for this organization. I don't know why that is. But again, it's a perception versus reality thing. I think that people like you and me, Jeff, at Summers Point, we look at Boston Scott as a productive running back in the NFL. And I think the Eagles look at him as he's a running back in the NFL. I think that's a larger issue with that. A couple more NFL thoughts before we get out of here. I feel so bad for Kirk Cousins. And I'm not going to say his career is cursed, but it almost feels like Kirk Cousins is never going to get to be as good as he could be. Kirk has never played on the best team. He's never been the best quarterback, but he's a guy who puts up ridiculous numbers. And, he feels like a better version of Vinny Testaverde or a better version of Drew Bledsoe, a guy who can just chuck the ball, put up big stats, never win the championship. And now the Vikings are going to make a decision. Are they tanking for the rest of the year, or are they going to try to keep winning? I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't know. There's the sounder. That means you need to call 609-573-3776 right now. Be caller 6 and 7, and you are qualified for this year's 99 bottles. 609-573-3776. Caller 6 and 7. You have an opportunity to be in the 99 bottles contest with not one but 2 pairs of Eagles tickets are in this year's contest, as well as Sixers, Flyers, and more tickets, all part of 99 bottles. But you're a qualifier. You are guaranteed to win something, and you must be present this year at the Anchorage Tavern in Summers Point the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Call 6 and 7. Good luck. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. I got the Lions covered in 7 tonight against the Raiders on Monday Night Football.
You haven't downloaded the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app? Well, go get it now to follow all the Philly sports teams.